The realm. Do you know what the realm is? It's the 1,000 blades of Aegon's enemies. A story we agreed to tell each other over and over till we forget that it's a lie.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back for another Game of Thrones House of the Dragon update video. Well, my friends, it looks like the day has finally arrived. HBO has released their first official teaser trailer, and I just have to say it looks absolutely amazing. It without a doubt exceeded all of my expectations. We are now only a handful of months away from seeing Westeros get set ablaze by House Targaryen and their dragons. Now, for those of you who don't know, House of the Dragon will be set roughly 170 years before the main events in Game of Thrones during the era known as the Dance of the Dragons. This was when House Targaryen started a civil war with their own family over the Iron Throne and the line of succession. After King Viserys Targaryen died, the rest of these characters will draw a line in the sand and fight for their side they believe deserves the Iron Throne the most. For those of you who don't know, King Viserys Targaryen had named his daughter, Rhaenyra Targaryen, as his heir for the Iron Throne. He wanted her to have it after he was gone, but his new wife, Alicent Hightower, did not want that to happen. So, she made sure their son Aegon Targaryen, the second of his name, sat on the Iron Throne instead. When that happens, many of these characters will fight for Alicent and her son, while the rest will fight for Rhaenyra. Now, for those of you who might be new here, I have already made some videos where I go over all of the information regarding these events. I will link one of those more detailed videos down below. Now, let's go through some of these new images from this teaser trailer because they look amazing. It begins with us seeing Rhaenyra Targaryen on Dragonstone. This is where she is living when her father, King Viserys Targaryen, dies. This is also where she will be fighting from for most of the Dance of the Dragons. Well, that is until she takes the Iron Throne for herself, if even only for a short amount of time. Next, we see Daemon Targaryen walking on Dragonstone with a dragon egg in his hand. Right behind him is his mistress Mysaria, who also becomes the sort of unofficial mistress of Whisperers for Rhaenyra Targaryen. They're being followed by what looks like several of the Gold Cloaks, also known as the City Watch of King's Landing. Now, for those of you who don't know, Daemon Targaryen was actually the commander of the Gold Cloaks for roughly a year. He is actually the one who gave them their golden cloaks, which as we all know, is what they later became known for. Now, another interesting detail you might not know is when Daemon Targaryen gets Mysaria pregnant with his child, he actually gave her his own dragon egg. However, King Viserys not only demanded that he get the dragon egg back, but he also said that he should send Mysaria away. Now, in this scene, it looks like Daemon is having a bit of a standoff with who I believe is Sir Otto Hightower, as well as several members of the Kingsguard and Grand Maester Orwyle. Now, for those of you that don't know, Daemon and Sir Otto Hightower absolutely hated each other. In fact, Sir Otto was even one of the men who suggested that King Viserys name his daughter Rhaenyra as his heir, out of fear of Daemon getting the Iron Throne after he died. However, this is just one of the many reasons they did not like each other. Then, we see one of the dragons and their rider flying over King's Landing, and I must say, this looks gorgeous. In fact, all of these scenes look incredible. The cinematography is definitely on another level in this new show. You can see that HBO spared no expense. Now, inside of the Red Keep and the Great Hall, we see King Viserys Targaryen, as well as hundreds of other lords and ladies in attendance. His daughter, Rhaenyra Targaryen, is standing directly in front of him below the Iron Throne. I believe this is when all of the great lords of Westeros will swear fealty to Rhaenyra Targaryen because, as I said, her father, King Viserys, did name her as the heir for the Iron Throne. He was setting her up to take over after he was gone. This will be when most of the lords acknowledge this. However, their fealty will sway once the Iron Throne is up for grabs. Some of these men who once stood behind her will no longer do so after Viserys dies, and his wife Alicent sets their son on the Iron Throne before Rhaenyra even finds out that her father is dead. We then see Daemon Targaryen and some of his City Watch storm what looks like the streets of King's Landing. Afterwards, we hear Princess Rhaenys Targaryen say, "Men would rather set the realm on fire before seeing a woman sit on the Iron Throne." Now that phrase alone also references something that happened to Rhaenys that also relates to what will happen to Rhaenyra. Now, for those of you that don't know, Princess Rhaenys Targaryen is known as the Queen Who Never Was, and that is because she was once in line for the Iron Throne herself, but she was also set aside like Rhaenyra. She knows exactly what Rhaenyra is going through once she gets set aside for her own brother Aegon. In fact, it looks like we might even see the Great Council at Harrenhal. The images are very dark, but it does look like Harrenhal. When Balon died in 101 AC, King Jaehaerys Targaryen called the First Great Council at Harrenhal to decide the matter of succession. There were 14 different claims that were considered, including the claims of Rhaenys and her children. Now, Rhaenys' uncle, Lord Borman Baratheon, was outspoken in supporting the claims of Rhaenys and her son Laenor during the Great Council, and Lord Ellard Stark gave his support to Rhaenys and Corlys as well. However, the claims of Rhaenys and her daughter were rejected on account of their sex. Afterwards, Rhaenys and her husband Corlys Velaryon used their wealth and their influence to persuade the lords to then vote for their son Laenor. However, Laenor was eventually set aside in favor of Balon's son Viserys Targaryen. Now, for having been set aside in the line of succession, the Jester Mushroom would name her the Queen Who Never Was. We then see another large gathering with King Viserys, his new wife Alicent, as well as Viserys' daughter Rhaenyra, and Lord Corlys and Rhaenys' son, Laenor Velaryon. I believe this might be their wedding, given what they are wearing during this occasion. We also see glimpses of what I believe is a funeral on Driftmark, the home and seat of House Velaryon. This is something I discussed in a video long ago, when some of these photos first leaked online. You can see their house banners flapping in the wind right here, and you also see them drop the sarcophagus into the ocean. This should be the funeral of Daemon's wife and daughter of Lord Corlys Velaryon, Lady Laena Velaryon. I actually think this might happen in one of the very first episodes. Now remember, if you want to learn more about all these characters and their relationships, I would highly recommend watching my other video that is linked down below. In that video, I explain all of these events in greater detail. Unfortunately, I only have a very small window to record this video today, so I have to get through some of these scenes a lot faster than I would like. Don't worry though, there will be many more videos soon. I'm only scratching the surface right now. Anyways, in one of the final scenes from this teaser trailer, we see Alicent running right at Rhaenyra Targaryen with the Valyrian steel dagger in hand. This is the same one we saw Arya use when she defeated the Night King. Now this should be right after Alicent's son, Aemon Targaryen, loses his eye. This happened during a fight with one of Rhaenyra's sons, Lucerys. As you can imagine, Alicent gets very upset, demanding justice, or an eye for an eye, let's say. This will be just the beginning of Alicent wanting Rhaenyra and her sons dead. Now at the very end of this new teaser trailer, we get our money shot, when Daemon Targaryen goes and visits his dragon, as it unleashes its scorching hot flame right in front of him. Once again, it looks amazing. If you don't know, House of the Dragon will feature roughly 17 different dragons during the course of its run, over a dozen more than we ever saw in Game of Thrones. Not only that, but we will see these dragons fight and kill each other in damn near every season of this show. Now, like I said at the beginning of this video, this new teaser trailer absolutely blew me away. It greatly exceeded all of my expectations. Everything looks and sounds so much better than I could have imagined. Dare I even say it looks even better than Game of Thrones did. Now, that's not to say the story will be better than Game of Thrones, because I don't think it will. However, I think it does look way better than Game of Thrones' very first season. As you all know, HBO now has its black belt in creating fantasy shows, and that is on full display in House of the Dragon. Now, I know there are still a lot of fans who are upset with how Game of Thrones ended, as I am, but I don't see how you can watch this new video and still think House of the Dragon will suck. I think it's your loss if you don't at least check out this show. I know I cannot wait for it to get released, and I'm assuming most of you watching this video feel the exact same way. Now, like I said a minute ago, I will be releasing a lot more videos about this soon. Make sure you subscribe now so you can see them all right away. As always, I want to thank everyone for stopping by and watching this video. I hope all of you have a great day. I will see you again very soon. Bye.